Hi Nate sisters, hi Nate brothers, welcome back to my channel. So if you're anything like me and you like cool shit like Star Wars, like Lord of the Rings, like comic books, DC Marvel in particular right now that we're going to be talking about, then you may have heard that Marvel is coming out with a new 6v6 tactical shooter. Very Overwatch-esque is what it's being compared to. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna say it. Marvel Rivals, please, please, please fix Storm. You guys really fucked her up. I don't see nobody talking about it. She's my favorite superhero and has been my favorite superhero since I was a little fucking kid, and you guys fucked her up. So let's get into it. Aurora Monroe, aka Storm, the regent of Orko, has always been my hero. She's always been my favorite superhero. She's always been my favorite X-Men. She's an Omega class mutant. So like in Marvel Rivals, I don't understand why Spider-Man feels more impactful than a literal goddess. How does Iron Man feel better flying around than Storm? Literally the only person that I know that can control the weather on an atomic level. It makes no sense why she'd be floating around like gust of wind or controlling her. That's not how it's working. You have her floating around like an idiot with no dash, and people are shooting at her. Like, I've never seen Storm just floating around like a jellyfish in the air. It makes no sense. She's an Omega class mutant, meaning Aurora Monroe's power has no like definable upper limit. Putting her in the same tier as people like Jean Grey, the motherfucking Phoenix herself. These mutants in this tier are powerful and crucial to the future of mutant kind. Aurora Monroe, widely known as Storm, stop using her government, or known as the Weather Witch, has always posed a great threat to her enemies, though it would be in just contemporary comics that she was given the status of Omega class, and later in House of X issue 1 when she was officially given Omega status. I think Storm should stop being given the short end of the stick like when she was a child, and start being recognized as the woman that she is, one of the strongest Omega mutants, such as the likes of as Jean Grey, not Green Jay, and given a better kit in Marvel Rivals. Because let's be real, Marvel Rivals can be and is shaping up to be Marvel's biggest game yet. I mean, what was their last thing? Marvel Snap? I didn't play it. I'm not interested. You know how many people are interested in Marvel Rivals? They need to get this right. They really do. Especially an icon like Storm. They made her combat boring. They made her gameplay boring. Anybody that has seen any gameplay of Storm, ask them what they think of her. Boring. It doesn't make any sense how a literal goddess with all of these powers that I'm about to go in and talk to you guys about, it has boring gameplay. Just don't get it. Fix it, please, Marvel. Please, Marvel Rival, fix it. Let me correct myself. We're not going to be talking about all of Storm's powers and abilities, just the top 3 that I really think encompass Storm's abilities and powers as a whole, as well as her abilities and powers that I feel are mostly widely known. Actually, let me correct myself. Not mostly widely known. Actually, powers that, you know, she actually fucking has. Because, let's be real, half of the kit in Marvel Rivals isn't even powers that Storm even fucking has. So, let's get into talking about Storm's powers. And at a base level, her Atom Kinesis. This is the base of her powers across the board. So Storm can control matter on an atomic level. This is the foundation of her weather control and manipulation powers. She has the ability to control all forms of weather and ecosystems, modifying aspects and controlling aspects of them, like the temperature, the rain, the humidity, as well as being able to generate lightning and other electromagnetic phenomenon, being able to execute these things with incredible accuracy because she's doing them on an atomic level, as well as being able to do these things from thousands of miles away. This is why I don't understand why the Storm in Marvel Rivals abilities are so boring, slow paced, and they just feel so underwhelming and weak. Because she's able to control things on an atomic level. She can even breathe underwater, for God's sakes, because of like being able to control things on an atomic level. And like I said, all forms of weather control, not just like being able to control air and lightning, being able to control the temperature, rain, hail, humidity, being able to make blizzard, earthquakes. There's so much more than just being able to control wind and lightning. I feel like what they did with that, like just being able to control the wind and the lightning and her weird like auto attacks that make no sense, and this floating thing, it's doing like such a big disservice to her powers and how strong her powers actually are of atom kinesis. So that leads me into talking about Storm's energy vision. Storm's energy vision goes hand in hand with her atom kinesis. I think that this is also a power and ability that could be used and implemented in Marvel Rivals in a plethora of different ways. So at the blink of an eye, Storm is able to alter her visual perception of the world around her. This allows her to see energy patterns. She can detect the flow of electromagnetic, kinetic, and thermal energies, which then she can bend to her will to create thunderstorms, hurricanes, blizzards, you name it, she could do it. This is why I think she could be the first character that's able to, detect and tell and detect and show or tell the team that, this enemy has their ult charge and it's ready to be used, or she can, absorb ults or abilities and kind of like turn the energy into something else. I have an idea of, the next video I'm going to do, talking about how we can take some of these things and implement it into Storm's kit into Marvel Rivals. One of them is being able to make storms at targeted locations being a channeled ability, maybe being able to, absorb these abilities and making these storms stronger, making an ult charge, reducing skill cooldowns. It could be something very interesting. This isn't just an ability that is limited to the natural world. She can also see the nervous systems in people, which comes in handy when she, needs to counterattack. Like I said, something really cool, but also being able to heal, I think would be really cool. I think it's strange that they made her a support and she's like a support damage dealer, and she's Storm with no healing reins or healing at all. I think that's very strange. Something they could really implement. That makes more sense than weird auras. Storm has never given someone movement speed. That's not something that she does. She'll give people cover by giving fog. She's floated people up. How like you guys have in Marvel Rivals made her float weird, like a cotton-headed Ninny-Muggin being shot at and having skills thrown at her floating around like a delicate daisy in the breeze, while Iron Man has jetpacks. So the third and final ability power that Storm has that I think is worth talking about when we're talking about things that could be implemented into Marvel Rivals is her Earthlink. Storm has a very special psionic bond with the primal forces of the Earth's biosphere. This makes her powers grow into spiritual level rather than just mutant level powers. These primal force, like spiritual powers, give her boost, like juice to her powers that she has naturally, as well as give her new powers. And one of these powers that the Earthlink has given her is basically the superpower of empathy for other living things. This has given her the ability to sense other creatures and their life forces. This is also why her emotions can overload her sometimes, and why her emotions are a direct link to how potent and powerful her powers are. And they also, if her emotions are out of like, if she can't maintain them, out of check, she goes crazy, can lead to catastrophic natural phenomenon. This Earthlink power and connection, superpower of empathy that it has given her, is why I also think it's a good thing that she is a DPS support hybrid. But I think it's very strange the way that they went about it, because the way that it should have been is she should have been a DPS healer instead of buffs like that, because the Earthlink, it doesn't give her the ability to like buff it. It gives her the ability to like see people's and creatures like health. Like she used this Earthlink ability life reading power once to, you know, see and sense a dying tree on the Xavier Manor while she was across the estate. You know, like it makes more sense for her to be a healer with this Earthlink ability instead of a weird Lucio or a person. So to sum up the video, because I want to get this video out before Marvel Rivals drops within this hour. It's 3 o'clock my time and it should be dropped already. Please, Marvel Rivals, fix Storm. The Storm that you have given us in Marvel Rivals is a disservice to Storm and the community of people that has been waiting their whole lives to be able to play Storm in the way that we would be able to play her in this PvP team tactical shooter. The skills and abilities are lackluster, as well as not even things that she does in the comics or movies, or how she even fights. Let's be honest. The flight is just her floating around, which really doesn't make sense, especially when she's in combat, because Storm has broken the barrier of sound with how fast she's been able to fly. She's never given anybody movement speed. If anything, Marvel Rivals should give her the ability, at the very least, with all of the snipers, with Black Widow, with Hawkeye that they've just like released within this last week, that she should be able to channel fog or mist to give cover to kind of counter the snipers, but give it a channel. Give her a channel. She should be a channel based character. She needs line of sight. She channels, she controls, like, you know, areas and points. Going about it with this channeling, like ability based kind of thing, it really does balance her out, because not only is she channeling, leaving herself vulnerable, but she also will need line of sight to keep the Storm there, which means that she's going to be battling with her positioning and the sniper's positioning to keep her team up, and trying to also, you know, push, using those storms to push the snipers off of their good high points, their good positions, their grounds, all of that I think is super important, and I think that is where Storm could truly fucking shine in this game. Her wind blades make no sense. Her auto attacks, I hate it. It feels horrible to use. They're not impactful. Her zap is underwhelming as well. I had an idea of her auto attacks, instead of like these weird, you know, wind blade bullshit, she like zaps them like Winifred Sanderson, and it's like almost like a Moira from Overwatch, like lock on, but instead she's zapping them, and after a certain point, after she builds up so much power, she zaps really hard and does a burst of damage that could chain lightning or deal a burst of damage to a single target. It makes more sense for her auto attacks to do that than this weird wind blade thing. Honestly, Marvel Rivals, please just fix Storm. This truly is an upsetting, underwhelming kit to be giving one of the strongest, and some even argue the strongest Omega class mutant. I beg and I plead you guys, as that little kid that wanted to grow up to be just like Storm, to be strong and a smart strategist that presents and puts fear a lot, like in her, like just being on the battlefield, she puts fear in her enemies. I like, please just fix it. Like, I pick Storm in Marvel Rivals and I get made fun of, you get told that you're a troll, you get yelled at, and that is not how Storm should feel on a team. People should love having Storm on a team. She should be strong as fuck. She should be OP as fuck, like Hela, like all these other characters. Please, Marvel, please fix it. Please. I love the character model. I love the ideas that you guys have for a lot of other characters. Please. I'm going to have 2 more videos coming out breaking down Storm, like the abilities that she has in game, and then breaking down the abilities that I think that Storm should have, making her a channeled mage. And I also want to shout out my sister Sombra. She's been helping me, and thank you, girl. She's been helping me so much with, you know, shooting around some ideas. It's actually her idea that Storm is a channeled mage, which makes so much sense. I love that idea. She's super smart. So go over on Twitch and follow her at Derpy Sombra. She's going to be streaming a lot more. She's getting her new PC this month, so go show her some love. Thank you, sister. And I'll leave you with this, my fellow Dathmerians. A quote from Albus Dumbledore himself. Numbing the pain for a while will make it worse when you finally feel it. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We have 2 more Storm videos coming.